Hi guys, it's Pastor Kerry here and welcome to another edition of Sideways. Sideways is our online relationship coaching program that helps you to keep your relationships right or get those sideways relationships right again. In this episode, we want to talk a little bit more about disappointments. I particularly want to show you to kind of unpack the various layers of disappointments so that you'll be able to manage those a lot better. I think that you'll be blessed by this information. We'll be right back. So we're talking about disappointments. And disappointments are one of those factors that cause relationships to go sideways. But one of the problems that we have when it comes to managing our disappointments well is that we fail to really understand the true nature of disappointments. So we want to spend a few minutes and talk a little bit about that. First of all, when you're thinking about disappointments, that disappointments have three different layers. And the first layer is just simply this: it's the issue. And that's typically what couples or individuals focus on when it comes to their disappointments. There's a wide spectrum of issues, all the way from the silly to the serious. And so really, when you stop and think about an issue comes up in a relationship when the other person or persons, they do not act in a way that you would expect for them to act. And so whether or not they are showing the same kindness that you would expect for them to show to you, or that they say the right things to you that you expect for them to say, or even that whether or not they're as faithful as what you would hope that they would be. And so there's a whole spectrum of these expectations that we have. And when those expectations are not met by an individual or the other person in the relationship, that's when the disappointments settle in. And so the first layer of disappointments is that issue. And so most people understand that, and that's not really the problem. The second layer of disappointments is emotions. Now, emotions come in two types. First of all, there's the presenting emotions. Whenever we're faced with a disappointment, that there's certain emotions that are just going to bubble up to the surface. And typically they're things like sadness or anger or hurt, for instance. And so these are the presenting emotions. And what happens is that oftentimes couples or people that are involved in a relationship, that they get stuck in both talking about the issue and reacting to that issue with their presenting emotions. And then it just goes on and on and on, and people get caught in a loop like that. So if we're going to move our relationships forward when we're stuck in a disappointment, we can't just continue to revisit the issue and respond with the presenting emotion. Really understanding what's underneath the presenting emotion and this third level when it comes to disappointments, that's really the key to breaking the logjam of just revisiting the issue over and over. So we said that there are three layers to disappointments. There is the issue, there's the emotions, and we talked a little bit about the presenting emotions. But really the key to untangling a relationship that has gone sideways is to begin to talk not just to react to those presenting emotions, but to begin to talk about the underlying emotions. Let's stop and think about this for a moment. Every time somebody's angry, there's really another emotion behind that anger. Every time somebody's hurt, there's really another emotion underneath that hurt. Perhaps the individual is feeling disrespected, or perhaps the individual is feeling abandoned, or perhaps there's a matter of feeling insignificant. There's a number of other emotions, these underlying emotions, and really beginning to unearth those underlying emotions are the key to moving the discussion forward instead of just getting stuck in that loop about talking about the issue and reacting with the presenting emotions. And so it's important to understand that behind these presenting emotions are also underlying emotions. Learning to talk about those feelings that are underlying the hurt and the anger is really the key. But that's not all. That we said that there are 3 levels when it comes to disappointment, or 3 layers when it comes to disappointment. There's the issue, there's the emotion, and then of course there's the presenting emotions along with the underlying emotions. But then the 3rd layer is needs and vulnerabilities. And this is really when we begin to look at resolving issues and talking about needs and vulnerabilities, that's when we can begin to achieve mutual understanding and work through our disagreements. We have the need to be loved. We have the need to be appreciated. We have the need to feel secure. We have the need to be valued. We feel vulnerable when those things aren't being met. And so talking about our needs and vulnerabilities is an important part of resolving our disappointments. Remember, earlier on in our course, we said that there are 5 indicators of why a relationship goes sideways. And one of those is disappointments.